a few programming facts for some upcoming things we have starting today. Today we have the pay-per-view undercard workouts and autograph signings, in which will be open to the public. It begins here at 3 p.m. today, right outside of the Cobb Theater. Also, this evening we'll have the fan experience and the all-access episode 3 viewing, which will be open to the media and public. And the location is the Beecher's Madhouse right here in MGM. Then tomorrow we'll have the undercard press conference, and lunch will begin at noon, and the press conference will start at 1 in studios A and B. And then tomorrow evening, Golden Boy Promotions and Mayweather Promotions is putting on a night of fights. In the main event, we have Luis Ortiz versus Latif Coyote, and this will be televised on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Deportes. All doors open at 3 p.m. and the first fight starts at 3:30. And the location is the Hard Rock Hotel. And Friday, we have the weigh-in. We'll have entertainment. We'll have Rick Ross, he'll be performing, and we'll have Prince Royce, who also will be performing at the weigh-in. Doors will open to the public at 12 noon, and the weigh-in begins at 2:30 p.m. And then Saturday, we have the Boxing Fan Expo at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and be sure to visit the Mayweather Promotions booth starting at 10 a.m. to visit all our rising young stars for autographs and giveaways. Okay, next up, I'd like to bring back to the podium Eric Gomez, the Senior Vice President of Golden Boy Promotions.
Thank you, Leonard. Now, obviously, to get to this level in boxing, you have to have a great team. And that's what Marcos Maidana has behind him. He's got a great team that brought him along the right way to get him to the highest stage in boxing. And it's what's needed to get at this level. So before I introduce Marco, I'm going to introduce his team. I want to acknowledge Sebastian Contursi, who's the co-manager. Sebastian, can you please stand up?
Thank you very much.
Sebastian's been with Marcos a very long time, and obviously it's great to see him in this stage in boxing. And the guy that's been working with him for the last couple of years, got him in shape, helped him get this rematch, and helped him be competitive in the first fight with Floyd. He's one of the best trainers in boxing right now. His stable is slowly growing. He's a young guy. He's got a lot of years ahead of him, and he's going to continue to build champions. That's Robert Garcia. Robert, can you please come up?
Good afternoon to everybody. Thank you all for being here. You know, all games aside, we're ready for this fight. We prepare ourselves like never before. We know the fight's not an easy fight, but it's not impossible either. I'm sure Floyd had a great training camp. He always does. We are very grateful to be here. We want to thank Golden Boy Promotions, Mayweather Promotions, Showtime, MGM, everybody for having us here. We're going to give what the fans are waiting for. What the fans want to see, that's what they're going to get Saturday night. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Now, when we first started this promotion, I said it many times before, I said it in interviews, we talked about it. Floyd didn't have to do this fight. He had a very tough fight the first fight. Yes, he won the fight. People said it was close. Marcos gave him a hell of a fight. Probably one of the closest fights Floyd has had in the last couple of years. But that's what makes a great fighter. That's why Floyd is so great. Because he does things that people don't expect him to do in boxing. I know that everybody here, Floyd has proven wrong. At least one time. Everybody. I mean, he's been proving me wrong ever since he fought Oscar. Every single fight, I've thought to myself, okay, this time we got him. Nope. This time we got him. Nope. But that's what makes him great. And everybody sitting here, I'm sure that all of you have criticized him at one point or another. You've said, oh, he's not going to get past this guy. He's not going to get past Ricky Hatton. Canelo's going to get him. Victor Ortiz is going to get him. Anyway, he's proven everybody wrong. But there's one critic that Floyd hasn't been able to prove wrong. There's one guy, there's one critic that keeps him going, and that's Floyd himself. He's probably the hardest critic, and that's why he took this rematch, because he felt that the first fight was close, and he wants to prove to everybody, but most importantly to himself, that he won that first fight and that he could do it again. But I know also at the same time that I have a hungry fighter here to my left that felt that he was very, very close, a step away from beating Floyd Mayweather. And he's here to prove that whatever it takes, whatever he left behind, whatever that little inch he needs more to beat Floyd, he's going to do it this time. So I want to bring up to the podium, you guys know him as El Chino. I want to bring up Marcos, El Chino Maidana. Marcos?
Hola. Bueno, me pongo tan nervioso que ya no sé ni qué decir.
I'm a little nervous, I don't know what to say anymore.
Bueno, primero y principal quiero agradecer a mi equipo,
First of all, I want to thank my team,
a Helmon, a Golden Boy, a Sebastián Contursi, que ha hecho un gran trabajo para obtener esta nueva oportunidad.
Al Heyman. I want to thank Golden Boy, Sebastian Cortusi for everything you do, for getting me this great opportunity.
A todo el periodismo argentino que está presente. Y bueno, esta vez vengo muy bien preparado, vengo a hacer historia.
And I also want to thank all the press, all the Argentinian press that came all the way over for this fight, and what can I say? I'm ready. I'm ready to make history.
También quiero agradecer a Gustavo Arce de Agustino, que me ha vestido. La verdad que muy contento por la ropa que me ha... Gustavo Arce.
Gustavo Arce, he wants to thank him. He's been dressing him and he got him this beautiful outfit.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Well, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Every great fighter has a great team, and Floyd is no different. We have a lot of wonderful people who work behind the scenes, who work with Floyd hand in hand, day in and day out. They never tend to get the credit, and I just like to acknowledge, some of the key players who work behind the scenes, whether it be his masseuse, Becky, to Rick Rod, who handle equipment, to everyone plays an integral role in his day-to-day preparation that it never gets talked about, and any other members of our money team who I haven't acknowledged, like Nate, for example. Nate, a former fighter who's been a childhood friend of Floyd's, who's been with Floyd for a number of years, who in my mind is an exceptional trainer himself. We have DeJuan Blake, who's there with Floyd hand in hand, day in and day out. These are the kind of guys that don't get the kind of credit and get not acknowledged for, helping Floyd with his day-to-day preparation. Then next comes to his two wonderful trainers who has a very well-known history in boxing, who both have had a lot of success. One I'd like to acknowledge is his father and the head trainer, Floyd Mayweather Sr. He's probably not in here, but just like to acknowledge him. I'd like to acknowledge his other trainer, Roger Mayweather, formerly known as the Black Mamba. And also I'd like to announce our cut man, Rafael Garcia, who's done a phenomenal job throughout the years, and he did a phenomenal job with closing Floyd's cut early in the fight, what made a big difference in Floyd going out there and making an adjustment because he couldn't see in one of the rounds at all. Like I said, Rafael, in my eyes, he's the best cut man in the business. But next up, this young man, like I said, I mean, can't say enough about him. You know, he's the guy that, you know, because he's become the face of boxing, you know, he's often become the guy who wears the target on his back. You know, no matter what he says, no matter what he does, you know, people form an opinion. You know, they tend to take things out of context. But it just comes with the territory. When you're on top and you've been on top for so many years, people are gunning at you. And the least little thing you say or do, no matter how you feel, things get taken out of context. This guy's had a phenomenal career. You know, he's beat everybody we put in front of him. He's been the best fighter in the world. He's been world champion ever since 1998 when he defeated Hernandez in a wonderful, wonderful fight. He's went on to beat a number of world champions, and he still tends to this day get criticized for his work inside the ring, which is mind-boggling. But in my eyes, he will go down as the best ever to do it. And no matter what anyone says, you know, he can only fight and beat the fighters in his era. If we could go back in a time warps, you know, we can make these mythical matchups and compare him to all the other fighters of the past. All the other fighters have laid the groundwork over the years to put him in a position to be thankful for the position that he's in, and he's been beyond blessed for the position that he's been that's been bestowed of him. He takes his job extremely, extremely serious. A guy that's made several $100 millions, and money doesn't motivate him because he's able to get up in, you know, the wee hours of the morning in his 20,000 square foot mansion, and oftentimes you'll see him out there putting in the road work like he's never earned a dime. You know, that's just because his dedication and his commitment to the sport. And I can't say enough, we all will miss this young man when he finally hangs up this glove. So all this hating and criticism about this and that, you guys need to stop. Just cut it out. Just acknowledge the fact that he's a great fighter. He has opinions. He's human just like anybody else. And when he goes in there in that ring, he gives it your all. He's went in there and he's dominated guys who we all have considered as A-level fighters, B-level fighters. And he makes these guys look all the same. You know, Maidana, he's a tremendous, tremendous fighter. You know, he's been an underdog for a number of years, you know, and Floyd is readily, openly taking on the challenge. The fans demanded the rematch, and Floyd said, no problem, let's do it, put him in there. He didn't cry, he didn't complain and say, oh, how about this other guy? He said, put his ass right back in there, and if the fans didn't think that I got it done right the first time, oh, I'll show him the next time. And my goal is plan on stopping him this time. You know, so there will be no questions left unanswered about the Mayweather-Maidana rematch. So without further ado, I'd like to call up the 11-time world champion in 5 different weight classes, the highest paid athlete in the world, who's put boxing on his back. And I'd like to touch on something else, is that the reason why a lot of times that, in my opinion, that boxing hasn't crossed over into the mainstream sport, mainstream world as a whole, is because we're too hard, and you know, we're always trying to find ways to denigrate, to down, and criticize people's accomplishments. And a lot of times it's done from people who never even have boxed before and don't know what it is to be in his shoes. You know, I can't say enough. When you when you've been at the top for so many years, and you look at, not just in boxing, in sports in general, what other athletes you can say that has been dominated everybody that's been put in front of him for all these years. But yet we still find ways to, you know, try to bring him down. And these are the reasons why boxing isn't like the NBA, the NFL, and any other major sport, because we're always looking for reasons to, you know, tear down our own. You know, the impact that he's had on the sport of boxing, a lot of times you guys don't, you know, comment on it. But I guarantee you, when you look at some of the lesser known fighters who are making a substantial more amount of money that they have been since Floyd has put the sport on his back. He's demanded and educated the fighters on that no longer will the promoters and the managers be able to take advantage of the fighters. The fighters deserve to be put in a position where they earn the lion's shares of money. And, you know, with educating the fighters, then he also becomes the bad guy. So I'm just saying all these kind of things to, once again, I touched on it on the last fight, that we must find a way to acknowledge greatness when we see it, because when you look around, there will be no another fighter like the man that's sitting to my right. There will be no other fighter like him. You know, there were other great fighters before him who did what they did and had phenomenal careers and went on to set phenomenal records. But the whole complete package, you will never see this done before. So without further ado, I'd like everybody to put their hands together for none other than Floyd Money Mayweather.
Thank you, Leonard. I appreciate it. First off, I want to thank God, because without God, all this wouldn't be possible. I want to thank my team, thank my staff, and of course, thank my trainers. They've done a remarkable job. We had a remarkable training camp. What else can I say? Truly unbelievable. You know, it's about hard work, dedication, prayers, and belief in a good team. And the first time out, me and Maidana gave the people excitement. That's what they want to see. It's all about blood, sweat, and tears. MGM Grand, there's no hotel like the MGM Grand. You guys have been truly unbelievable. You know, to have an 18-year relationship with you guys, you know, I couldn't ask for a better relationship. Al Heyman, of course, the one and only. Very shrewd businessman, one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. Richard Stern, I want to thank you. I want to thank your staff. I want to thank your team. Steven Espinoza, of course, it's always showtime. The All Access team, you guys, you know, day in and day out. You know, some days I'm a little rough, of course, because I want to do record-breaking numbers. So I'm a little rough on you guys. But this time around, I think that we gave them a lot of excitement. You know, still more to come because we still got 2 more shows. All the sponsors. I know it's so many different sponsors. I know Corona. Who else we got? O'Reilly. And I want to take my hat off to Golden Boy Promotions, the Golden Boy staff. You know, I've been doing business with you guys since, I believe, 2007. You know, I'm still sharp, so I believe 2007. And, you know, I know I'm knocking at the door. I know I'm almost 40, but I'm still going strong. I still feel good, and I want to go out there and perform and look well and give you guys what you want to see. The first fight was very, very interesting, and hopefully this time around, this fight is a lot more exciting. And he's always in tip-top shape, you know, from what I've seen. And do he deserve a rematch? Absolutely. You know, I commend him. I commend his team for stepping up to the plate and making this happen again, because the fans demanded this fight. So I'm a true champion, and a true champion never backs down. So me, myself, I said, let's make it happen again. So, you know, we'll see you guys Saturday. Thanks for the support. If I'm not mistaken, Steven, all access tonight? All access tonight. I think they'll be showing all access here at the hotel. And if you don't come to the hotel, of course, tune in and watch Showtime. I know it's show at two different times as far as East Coast and West Coast, but tune in. My team, we're here again. And when I go out there and fight, I don't just do it for myself, I do it for my team. I'll see you guys Saturday.
Next up, we'd like to pose the fighters.